So we're going to first start out by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept and then the slope for equations that are in standard form. There is a method for finding the x-intercept of any equation. Does anybody in this room know how you find the x-intercept of any equation? Or the y-intercept of any equation? So if you're looking at the graph, it would be on the axis. What if I'm not looking at the graph? What if I'm looking at the equation? Say, what do I do to solve it? Yes, 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 yes. If you want to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y, or if you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x, and then you solve for the other variable. Let's write that down. So to find the x-intercept, plug in 0 for y, and then solve for x. To find the y-intercept, plug in 0 for x, and solve for y. That works with all the equations that we're going to do in here. So we're going to do that a lot, not just with lines. We're going to do it a lot. All right, and then to find the slope, when it is in standard form, how do we find the slope? Negative a over b. So for these, we're going to find the x and y intercepts, and we're going to find the slope, and we're going to graph it. I'm going to organize finding my x and y intercepts, and you're more than welcome to copy my method of organization, but somehow please show me that you figured it out on your own, like show some work. Don't just put an answer. Doesn't have to be the same word. So I'm going to do x-intercept and y-intercept in a chart. For the x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So you'll see I've got 3x plus 2 times 0 equals negative 12. And if I plug in 0 for y, 2 times 0 is still 0. So really, I could just write 3x equals negative 12. And then solve that. X is negative 4. Write it as an ordered pair. Negative 4, 0. Please write the intercept as an ordered pair. The y-intercept I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to plug in 0 for x equals negative 12. And then that's going to give me 2y equals negative 12. So when we're in standard form, when you plug in 0, it just kind of eliminates the other term. So y is negative 6. Ordered pair 0, negative 6. We could find our slope using negative a over b. So I will do negative 3 over 2. When you go to graph this, you have 3 pieces of information, but you actually only need minimally 2. So you can choose what 2, 3 things, or you can use all 3 things to graph it. So I'm going to start by saying I could just graph the x and y intercept and connect them. Ooh, we need straight edges. Try to hurry and then drop it. Okay, so we're going to plug the or plot the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and you could use your straight edge at that point and connect it, and it'll work just fine. You could, if you want, start at the x-intercept and use the slope. You could go negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2. Or up 3 left, up 3 left. We can start the y-intercept and use the slope. You just need 2 things. Okay. Next one. 4x minus y equals 2. We're going to find the x and y intercepts. And then the slope. So x-intercept, plug in 0 for y. When I plug in 0 for y, the entire term that has the y goes away. So I just have 4x equals 2. Then I divide by 4 and I get x equals 2/4, and that reduces to 1/2. For the y-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So the 4x term is totally gone, and I get negative y equals 2. So y is negative 2. 0, negative 2. And then for the slope, negative a over b. Negative 4, and then in this case, b is negative 1. So we got positive 4 for our slope. And when I go to graph this, and I look at my choices, I don't really prefer to graph fractions. I don't prefer it. So I'm going to graph the y-intercept at negative 2 and use the slope from there. Up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. Or down 4 left, down 4 left. And then when I use my straight edge and I connect and I draw my arrows, and I look carefully, it does actually look like it hits the x-axis at 1/2. So I kind of check myself and make sure I've got everything right. So you don't have to use the two intercepts. You can use an intercept and the slope. C is 6x plus 4y equals 10. Let's find our x and y intercepts. So x-intercept, we're going to make y 0 is 6x equals 10. So x is 10 over 6. Reduce it 5/3. Y-intercept, 4y equals 10. So y is 10 over 4ths. Reduce it, 0, 5 halves. Slope is negative 6 over positive 4, reduces to negative 3 over 2. Now when we look at my choices, I need at least two things to graph this, and my choices aren't that great. They're like all fractions. So what do you think would be the easiest way of graphing this? Just curious, there's no wrong answer. What should we graph?
The y.
The 5 over 2. The y. Yeah, I think that would be one of the easier things to graph. I mean, it's a fraction, but at least it's 2.5. So from there, I either need to graph 5/3 and use a straight edge really accurately to connect it, or I can use my slope from that point. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll use my slope from that point. Okay. My slope is down 3 over 2. Just make sure if you're going down 3 from 1/2, we are staying at that 1/2 the whole time. Down 3 over 2. Just staying at the 1/2 unit. I would just double check to make sure that 5/3 does look right on this graph. 5/3 is about 1 2/3. Does that look right? Does it look like my graph's right? Double check yourself there. And then the last one, we've got 3x minus 2y equals negative 90. So x-intercept, we got 3x equals negative 90. So x is negative 30. Negative 30, 0. Y-intercept, get rid of the x's, negative 2y equals negative 90. So y is positive 45, 0, 45. Slope, negative 3 over negative 2, 3/2. Oh no, we have a problem. What's the problem? Oh my gosh. So I should just like start at 10 and just count all the way off the graph all the way up to 45, right? Should I just put it here and call it 45?
No.
Don't do that. What should I do? What should I do? What should you do? What should we do? What? Change the scale. And if you're going to change the scale, totally change it to whatever you want, but you got to tell me that you changed the scale. I cannot read your mind. Do not tell me with a note off to the side like, how many by points? Don't do that. Like, pick some points on the graph and label them, like 5, 10, 15. All right, I know you're counting by fives now. Same thing with the y-axis. Put some numbers on there. If you can't fit it in, put some numbers up here. Here's a 5, 10, 15. Here's 20, 25. All right, now I know what you're counting by. Show me what you're counting by, okay? Don't put it off to the side because I'm not going to, I won't notice it. I'll tell you that, I won't notice it. All right, and so I'm going to graph negative 30 for the x, positive 45 for the y. And you can use your straight edge at that point and connect it. But I want to show you something really cool. Let's wait for our stuff. You're still writing on speed. So you would like to use the slope. You know when I changed the scale, I changed them so they're the same. I didn't like count by tens and count by fives. I changed them so they count by the same thing. So all the units are the same. If I use my slope on this, and I go from here up 3 over 2. You see it's still on the line? I'm not really going up 3 though. What am I really going up by? 15, and I went over 10. Doesn't that equal 3 over 2 though?
Yeah.
So you could still use your slope if you change the scale and just keep them equal. You could still use your slope at that point. I told you it was going to be cool, didn't I? Alright, so in your assignment, you're going to have some graphing questions like those. You might have to change the scale. Next ones, we are going to write the standard form of the equation using whatever's given to us. So this says the slope-intercept form of the line is y equals 2/3 x minus 4, and we need to write the standard form. And we just did that yesterday. So you need to take that and move it into standard form. How do I change y equals 2/3 x minus 4 into standard form? It's supposed to be y equals c. Yes. Wait, what's your name? Jenna. Jenna.
You subtract 2/3 x.
Subtract 2/3 x. That is one way you could do it. There's many ways you could do it, but that is one way we could do it. So you might have been thinking something different. There's other ways to do it. It's okay to do it a different way. All right, so if we do subtracting the 2/3 x first, is this standard form? No. Why? True.
Because A has to be positive when we get fractions.
Right, both. Yeah. A, the first number has to be positive, and then we can't have any fractions. So to cancel out the negative sign, we multiply by -1. To cancel out the division by 3, we multiply by 3. Can we just combine that? So multiply by what? Maybe 3. Just be careful and multiply everything by -3. So I multiply the first term, we get 2x, and minus 3y equals positive 12. Just changing it into standard form. 2x minus 3y equals 12. Next one, we've got a line. It is a horizontal line that passes through the point -7, 10. How many people in here feel like they are visual learners? Like, I learn better by seeing it. Some of us actually have to do it. And then there's people who just hear it and it works. I don't know how that works, but because I'm not that person. I'm a visual person. So for this one, I'm just going to sketch a quick graph. It's easy. It's a horizontal line, goes to that point. Let's sketch it. -7, 10. Horizontal line that goes to that point right there. All right, so that's the line we're dealing with. We need to write that in standard form, but I don't have an equation yet. So could we maybe find the equation of that line? What do we know about that line? Slope is 0. What else do we know? The y-intercept is 10. So if we know the slope and we know the y-intercept, we can put it into slope-intercept form. This one. Whoop, hey, stop. So y equals 0x plus 10. We want to put it in standard form. You just have to move the x over, but it's 0. So it's just y equals 10. So that is the standard form. I mean, you could write this. You could write that, but we just leave it as y equals 10 for standard form. Next one, it passes through the points -2, -4, and 4, -2. So we need standard form, but what can we find? Where should we start? Find the slope? Slope between the 2 points? Okay, once we have the slope, then what can we do?
Pick a point and use the point.
Pick a point, use point so far. Just curious, what point would you prefer?
The first one because it adds this.
So if you use the one with both negatives, when you plug it into that point so form, they become both positives. That's one I prefer too. But you can use whatever one you want. You don't even have to think about it that much, just do it. y plus 4 equals 1/3 x plus 2. And we're trying to get it into standard form, so we need to get rid of the parentheses. Y plus 4 equals 1/3 x, and we're distributing. And when you multiply 1/3 times 2, you got to put that 2 over 1 and multiply straight across. So I get 2/3. We're trying to get it in standard form. And when we get it in standard form, are we allowed to have fractions? Okay, so I can either get rid of the fractions later, after I had to subtract the 4 and find a common denominator, or I can get rid of the fractions before I have to subtract the 4 and find a common denominator. So I'm going to get rid of the fractions now, because I don't want to have to do the common denominator thing. All right? Doesn't really matter the order, but I'm just trying to make it most efficient. What do I multiply to get rid of the fraction? 3. So I get 3y plus 12 equals x plus 2. We're trying to get this into standard form, and I want to show you something you might not have thought about. You're trying to get into standard form. Do I have to move the x over to the left, or could I move the y to the right? Could I move the y to the right? What's that going to help me in the long run? The x will already be positive. I don't have to deal with multiplying by that -1. So if you'd like to do that, I would subtract. Why my computer's not working very well. Subtract the 3y. And also subtract the 2. So give me what? 10 equals x minus 3y. And you just need to rearrange it. So it looks like here. Alright? Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can get on Canvas and watch this video later. D is perpendicular to 4x minus y equals 1 and passes through the point 2, 1. So perpendicular, we did that yesterday. First thing we need to find, the slope. So we're going to find the slope of this line, negative 4 over negative 1, 4. But since it's perpendicular, we need to use the perpendicular slope. So we take 4 and we reciprocate it and take the opposite, negative 1, 4. Then we do point slope form. Y minus 1 equals negative a fourth times x minus 2. And we will distribute to get rid of those parentheses. Y minus 1 equals negative a fourth x. Plus, when I multiply negative 1/4 times negative 2 over 1, I reduce it, I get a half. And I see all these fractions. I don't want to deal with them, and I don't have to. I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to multiply by a number that will cancel out a denominator of 4 and a denominator of 2. So it's going to be the lowest common denominator. It's got to be something that both numbers will divide into. If I put a 2 up here, 4 does not divide into 2. So it's got to be 4. It's got to be the bigger number. So we got 4y minus 4 equals negative x. And then when I multiply these here, we get 2. Then I'm going to move the x to the left and move the 4 to the right. X plus 4y equals 6. Done. All right, I can see that you're so super excited to get to example 3. I can see it on your faces. You say, oh my gosh, there's words. I love reading. I love it. Did I tell you about my son? I didn't tell you about my son. He's 7, going in 2nd grade. The last week of May, he started reading Harry Potter, the first one, and he's on the 5th one. Reading. You guys like Harry Potter?
Yeah, I read those too.
He's on 5th. He's 7.
That's crazy. I think I said that when around that age. Now it's more like 8.
Yeah, I couldn't read 4 Harry Potters this summer.
Yeah, that's
I don't have that attention span. But that's his favorite thing. He loves to read. You guys should meet him. He's a pretty cool guy. All right. So we're going to read. Oh, by the way, all you have to do is write the equation. You don't have to do any solving. All you have to do is write the equation in standard form. So each book in the store costs $10. Each magazine costs $6. If you want to spend exactly $32, write the equation in standard form, modeling the situation. Let X represent the number of books you buy and Y represent the number of magazines you buy. So we're going to have 10 multiplied by the number of books plus $6 multiplied by the number of magazines equals a total of $32. And that's all you have to do for now. Okay. Last one. Your team is working a concession stand for a fundraiser. You budget $100 to spend on supplies. You can buy hot dogs for $3 per package and frozen burger patties for $9 per package. And we're going to model this situation. So we have a total of $100 to spend. There's our total. How much? We got $3 per hot dog plus $9 per burger package. All right. our assignment is this worksheet. This is not stapled, so don't pass it. And then if you haven't turned in, what color are our papers? The salmon coral color one, is it? I know. Hand it back to me. If you haven't turned that in yet, remember Monday, if you want to get it in for extra credit, Monday is the date for extra credit. It is due by Friday. Next Friday. But Monday for extra credit. The copier didn't have staples, so.
How many points was that assignment, like the sheet for?
Hold on a second. Hold on.